Hey guys, welcome back to Shit Creek Survivors, where we share stories of resilience and tools for resilience. This week, episode number 27, exactly half a year, we are going to share how grateful we are to be given this opportunity, how thankful we are to the people who are listening, the top episodes that have been already viewed, the episodes that are coming down the pipeline, and the main function of our podcast is to provide a podium for individuals to share their stories of going through Shit Creek and finding their way out on the other side. Keep sending us the stories. Thank you so much, guys.
All right, buddy. Can you believe we are on episode 27?
27.
27. I thought we'd take the time to kind of, I don't know, live in gratitude. I can't believe that we've made it this far. It's exactly half a year. We put out one episode per week for 6 months. We're just getting to the end of the 6 month, and I am proud of hell of us. And there's just a lot to talk about. I thought we should put this episode in there because I think we should talk about the amazing things that have happened, the amazing things that are happening, and the amazing things that are soon to come. What do you think?
There you go. Yeah.
All right,
It's
good
been a
deal.
heck of a year so far.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. Our favorite episodes out of our
oh, yeah.
top seven. Okay, I'm gonna pick out the one, two, three, four, five, six, seven top episodes out of 27, including this one, I guess.
Yeah.
First
Is
one,
this like in order, like the most watched, or are we going in
no,
reverse order?
no, I'm
Like
just
seven
going
to one.
chronologically through the episodes.
Okay.
So episode number one, where I discussed being shot in the face, that was highly enjoyed, pretty funny. Because
Okay.
people like to hear about people getting shot in the face. Not bad. Obviously, there's more to it. Like the second episode where we talked about getting out of that shit creek, and kind of what that meant, establishing the premise of the show, and things happen, but it's not about what happened. It's about what you're going to do to kind of get yourself moving in the right direction and what can kind of like project you that way. So after that, we brought
Tools
on
for
some.
resiliency. That's what part of the tagline, right?
Exactly. Stories of resilience, tools for resilience. So we had number 10 was Randy's episode where she discussed being a police officer and kind of like her transition out of law enforcement.
That was one of
There
the
was,
first big watched ones I think we had.
yeah, it actually did get a lot of views. So there's a lot of people listening to it, even now. And Chris Ashley was number 12. She talked about trauma in her own life, actually, her mom
Yeah.
being part of that trauma and her needing to grow and heal outside of her family, which was awesome.
Yeah. And she's still
Number,
doing a lot of good podcasts to follow too. If anybody didn't
yeah,
catch that episode, go back and watch it, learn more about her, and then follow her and read more about her stories, her books, and her stuff because she's got a lot of good information that
yeah,
is a little bit a little scoped a little bit differently than what we probably talk about all the time. We talk about similar stuff, but our experiences are a little different, and we're men, and she's a woman. There's women things that she talks about more too.
right.
So any women listeners that we're not really quite talking to as well, go seek her out, Chris Ashley. She does good podcast too. Anyway,
Yeah,
diverted
you
from that.
you can even comment on how well we did at actually absorbing what she was saying to us. You know what I mean?
That'd be nice. Yeah, I need the
Give,
affirmation. Know that I was listening.
yeah, give us some hints. Let us know what we were missing. So the next episode was number 14, Patrick, who is the Army chaplain.
Army chaplain.
Yeah, we got a lot of views on that one. I think a lot of people were
He had a lot of
interested.
good information too. That
Yeah,
struck me. That talked to me specifically. Some of the
yeah.
things that he said. I think the military connection probably is part of that as well. But yeah,
Yeah, I
he
thought
was
that
a
was
lot of
super
information.
neat. And not only did he talk about being an army chaplain, but I loved his story prior to that. The whole idea that he was a pastor at a Presbyterian church. He has a family. They go on a vacation, I think, to California. They end up passing the apartment that he used to be in when he was training to be an army chaplain. At some point, he separated himself from that, and his kid asked him in that trip, "Do you ever wish that you would have gone and become an army chaplain?" And he said, "It's one of the regrets I have." And then his wife basically stepped up to him and said, "We don't have regrets in this
Yeah,
family." And I thought that was so neat, that backing. And basically,
yeah,
it opened the door to him. And then he just kept, it wasn't like he applied and he got it right away. It was like he applied to the Navy. He applied to it was all kinds of stuff. He was all over the
yeah.
place. And like his last shot was the one that stuck. And he was able to go over. He spent time in Egypt, I think he was discussing. Uh,
Yeah.
fairly recently, just helping the guys out who were boots on the ground, and uh, yeah, that was interesting. He talked about what
Yeah.
it's like,
Good
and you,
story of resilience there, and good. What a good support system story to have.
yeah,
We both talk very much about our wives being great influences and helping us and being our support system. That was just another example from somebody that we didn't know very well before the interviews, or at least I did. You know him a little bit more than I did.
yeah,
But that's good. So find yourself a good partner that's going to support your dreams and help you get there and reach your goals.
that's a
That's
ride
a
or
good
die
thing.
right there, a
Yeah.
ride or die chick right there. I bet Patrick never thought that his wife would be called a ride or die chick, but she is. Uh, Number 18 was Blessed Are the Peacemakers with Chucker Charles from
Yeah.
DFW. You guys worked together, and we got into scripture during that, and it talked about, law enforcement being actively mentioned in the Bible, all kinds of different stuff. The color blue being designated from the beginning as that of the peacemakers, and all that
Yeah.
kind of biblical stuff was so interesting. So check it out if you didn't hear it. And then number 26 is From Shackles to Strength. It was the episode where I went into the jail. It was fairly recently. It was our last episode,
Yeah.
actually. We keep moving so fast. It's hard to, you know, it feels like a month ago that happened, but it was just, last week.
And Julie just now started like is only like in episode 12 or 13, so she's still catching up too. So
Yeah,
there's probably
it
people that
takes.
are catching up, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong. I don't think we're not really being timely with any of this information. It's not like if you don't catch it within a week after you put out, it won't be any good.
Right.
It
And
should be.
it's not a
Yeah.
TV show either where you have to see the last one to know what's happening.
Yeah.
You could literally cherry pick. You could be like, I want to hear about, Patrick being an army chaplain, and then I'd also like to hear Randy's story, and hear what her experience in law enforcement was like, and her interaction with command staff and all that kind of stuff. And then there's just a lot of good stuff. I loved From Shackles to Strength because that was such an interesting opportunity for me to actually go inside of a jail and
Yeah.
talk to inmates who are trying to get back on their feet, who are looking for tools to be resilient. Or I gave them a story. Hopefully they needed it. I think they liked it because I didn't lose their attention. And I was contacted later by the individual who got me in there and said that those guys were super appreciative and that they were still talking about it and how they thought it was
That's
interesting. A
cool.
police officer came in and was willing to say, I'm a fuck up, in so many words, because it's good to know that everyone's in a way when you're struggling
Human.
to know other people are struggling is a weird way of making yourself feel a little bit better. But like if you're
That's an angle that I wasn't sure that was going to transition, but I'm glad you're hearing it because you would
yeah
hope it would. You would hope somebody would be appreciative that you came in and told your story, even though you're a police officer. It's fine and dandy to be in the group of the guys and bash you about it, or laugh because you got shot and they hate cops and whatever.
yeah
But deep down on the inside, the message was received and met with like understanding and gratitude. That's awesome. That's moving. That's what we're here. That's all we want this to be, right?
yeah I never thought I'd
We
be
just wanted to
standing.
help each other by talking, and
Yeah,
maybe somebody else gets something good out of it. That's all we
absolutely.
really want.
Absolutely. It's for the better of ourselves and others. And
Yeah.
I will
I look
say that
forward to these. I look forward to talking to you like this. But whatever we're going to talk about, or interviewing people, we have. Has the bullseye been released
no,
yet? Okay, so we got
no.
bullseye coming to be released soon. That's a good
Yes,
one.
yes. Well, I'll mention some things that are soon to come, which are pretty exciting. We have a Army Ranger coming on who's
Yeah,
trained in
Brandon.
psychological warfare. Okay. We have an anti-bullying clown named Bullseye.
Yes, that's the one
Um,
I was just talking about.
and I'm not going to use any names. I'm just going to give a description for the other three that I think are worth mentioning. We have a former uh, cocaine dealer of 10 years coming on, who's going to
Right.
be giving us his story and something pretty amazing that he's doing now. We've
Yeah.
got a one-armed golfer coming on, uh,
Yes.
and we have a
And he's
former.
a good golfer too. I mean, like
He beat
he
me, I'm
is
sure.
ranked. He is like ranked in the disability amateur or pro status or
Yeah,
whatever it is. He's out there making waves and making a name for himself with one arm swinging that golf club.
straight drives with a one arm. It's insane. Like he was just, and we were at where were we? We were at
It was
Sugarloaf.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were at Sugarloaf, and we had gone to the Mitsubishi Classic. I think you've got
Yep.
the shirt on right there.
I
I
got the
almost
shirt
wore
on right
mine
now.
today. I, I almost wore
That'd
mine
been funny
today.
if you
That's
did.
so funny. So we got to go to that, which was so interesting, and work with
Yeah.
the Georgia State Adaptive Golf Association. We got to meet David, who came on, and he talked to us about adaptive golf and all that kind of stuff. So we've had quite a bit of interesting conversations in the last 6 months,
It's
and a
it's
lot to
not
come.
just one. It's not just one category either. It's kind of diverse.
No,
It's spread out. That's
and
good.
that's what it's about. It was never meant to just be an isolated, like we only want to help these people with PTSD or trauma. It's like
Yeah.
everybody has PTSD and trauma, right?
Right. Right. Remember
And
that story about that one woman posted about she didn't think she deserved to be have PTSD as her diagnosis because she wasn't a police officer or a first responder or a military member. And I want to reiterate, if she's listening, it matters. You matter.
yeah,
And all of these tools, if they help you, use them. If they don't, go find ones that do.
yeah.
Um,
And
yes, everybody can suffer through this, and everybody needs help, and it's okay.
I think people sometimes they come up to me and they'll literally look at me and say, "Can you get PTSD from?" And they'll bring something up.
Yeah.
And I've been reflecting on it, and it almost looks as if, especially with the men, that if they can actually get they're looking for like a diagnosis. If do I have PTSD, and is it why I feel the way I do? Right. And it's almost like they're seeking the diagnosis so it gives gravity to the way that they're feeling sometimes. But the
Well,
truth is,
I put
you,
off quite a few years to go it too, so I feel like I can speak a little bit to that angle.
yeah,
Before going in and getting the actual diagnosis, I feared that I would, and I had legitimate reasons for the fearing and affecting my job if I got into a shooting and stuff like that. Those I think are kind of legitimate, but they're also excuses, and I shouldn't have used them. I should have went and got it. I think after I got diagnosed and actually started talking to somebody about it, there was a part of me that felt relief in a
yeah,
weird way because it made sense. Something made sense. That's not just me losing my mind or going crazy or everybody's out to get me or whatever. It's actually something happened that I'm putting off and not taking care of, and it gets worse and worse and worse. You know what it? Okay, what it is? How heavy is this glass of water?
I don't know what.
Doesn't really matter, right? 12 ounces, 3 ounces. Now it's only a couple ounces, but if it's filled up, it's 12 ounces, right?
Yeah,
How long can I hold that glass of water? No problem right now, right?
yeah,
But if I held onto it all day like this and never set it down, my arm would start getting tired, right?
yeah,
Same thing with worry. All the worrying you do about all day long is like this cup of water. Give it the attention it deserves for a few seconds,
yeah.
set it down, and walk away from it and move forward with life.
I also wanted to say to all those guys who come up to me and they're almost like asking me to diagnose them so that they can
Yes.
feel okay about the way that they
Normal.
feel. Here's the truth. You don't need a diagnosis to confirm that you're struggling. You
Yeah.
don't.
And you
And
could be struggling for other reasons
and
besides
that
just an actual trauma event. You could be struggling
yeah,
for
and the
other
reason
reasons.
I'm saying it is because when I'm having these conversations, I don't, first off, I'm not allowed to diagnose them. You know what I mean? All that kind of
Right.
stuff. But I'm starting to ask them, I'm like, does it actually matter if you actually have the diagnosis, if you feel the way you do?
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah, but what
I,
if one
I,
of the reason I feel that way was because really I have a brain tumor or something? I mean,
yeah,
my
that's
dad
true.
had one, and now
That's
every
true.
time I think I have a headache, I feel like it could be something else. So it gave me some relief that it wasn't, a mortal cancer tumor growing in my head like my dad. It gave me some confirmation that way. So it'd probably be the same way for them as well.
And yeah,
Something didn't let you know that that what you're feeling isn't so abnormal. Other
right.
people go through it too. You're
I
not
agree with that.
alone. It feels good to know that you're not alone in everything that you do, especially when you're struggling and you're sad and you're angry and you're traumatic. You're
Yeah,
thinking about bad things. That's when you need the affirmation the most. That's when you need somebody to come up and just like, I know how it feels, or I don't know
yeah,
how it feels, but I can't imagine how you feel, but I just want to hug you right now.
right.
Man, okay, I'll take it. It makes me feel good. That might work for me. It might not work for somebody else. I don't know.
I just want to encourage guys who are like waiting for the diagnosis to then get help. You
Yeah.
can start doing things to help yourself before you get the diagnosis. Like it may even help you kind of clarify what's going on if maybe you take a couple steps, like maybe I could try meditating, or maybe I should get a workout in, or maybe I
Yeah.
should watch what I'm eating, or maybe I should pray tonight, or maybe I should, all that kind of stuff. Just little things that might help you
Well, want
before
to
you,
first.
yeah, you get,
And like want to first. It's the same thing with everything. You want to quit alcohol. You want to quit drugs. You want to quit smoking. You want to quit porn. You want to quit whatever stuff. Caffeine. Whatever it is that you're calling your drug of choice that you want to stop. You have to want to.
yeah,
So you're gonna
yeah,
have to want to get out of your desperate feelings. You're gonna want to have to. You're like, I'm just tired of always feeling down and depressed and sad and lonely and isolated. So you're gonna have to make a plan of action
yeah,
and don't get overwhelmed. That would be the first thing because I know it would work for me. I would get overwhelmed and probably just stop and just go, I'm just go back to scrolling through the internet or watching, playing video games or drinking alcohol or whatever it is to numb the pain and stop thinking about whatever I was thinking about. I
yeah,
had to really think about things. I had to face them. You have to face your fears,
yeah,
but do it. You don't have to do. You're right. You don't have to wait till you get diagnosed for it. You can start doing. Make a list, something that will help improve your life, and start doing it one day at a time, one step at a time, one sock drawer at a time, one little rock at a time. Before you move the big boulders, just
yeah,
start somewhere. Want to make a plan and start doing something.
yeah. And I think
Start
something
doing
that,
something.
exactly, start doing something. And don't compare yourself to someone else who has it. And you're like,
Right.
well, they have it way worse. Or this
Or yeah.
bad thing happened to them. I shouldn't feel the way I do because I didn't go through something as extreme as this. And that's
Right.
not the way it works. We've all got our own roads to go down and stuff like that. So
Even if you go through the same situation.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, we've got several instances as police officers where we've seen same things at the same times. I've got several incidences in the military seeing the same things as several other people, and it could affect each of us a little bit differently, and that's okay too.
yeah, yeah, for
Um,
sure. So I'm
everybody
really
everybody
proud.
copes differently. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I was going to say I'm really proud of the people who have reached out to us and
Yeah.
said like, this is working or I understand what you're saying. There was a couple comments on some really funny animations I put out there. Like, what was the funniest comment? It was something like, I don't know what I've just found, but I feel like it's not
I feel like
okay.
I shouldn't be watching this because you were doing you had your Bob animation going or something like
But
that.
talking about it's worth a listen or something like that.
Do you
But
change your voice when you're doing that, or does it change your
yeah,
voice for you?
I
Oh, so
changed my voice.
you were trying to talk at it.
I was trying to
So
go
you could
slow.
have that you could have that Bob animation and just talk normal, and it would follow through that way.
No, I do the voice like like
That's what I'm saying. It would you would just be just you talking now, but it would look like Bob, and it wouldn't change the voice for you or nothing. 'Cause I feel like that would be weird too.
yeah, it wouldn't
I feel like
change
it's
the
a whole
voice.
nother. I feel like it's a whole different level of weird.
And what's funny is the only reason Bob came about is because when I turned one of our clips into an animation, I thought I looked like Bob because of my mustache. I'm like, great, I look like Cheeseburger Bob. So
Uh,
I was
well,
like, I
don't do
look
the
like.
kid one again because that one of me with the beardless kid made me look like I had Down syndrome or something. I don't know.
There was something wrong with that one. I don't know what that was.
I
There's a
don't know what
button.
it saw. I don't know what it saw on my face to make that kid's face, but I'm not happy with it. I don't want to see it again.
You look like a soprano, a
Oh
baby
my goodness! I didn't.
soprano with learning disabilities.
Yeah,
Like it, it's so
it was
funny.
something. It was
It,
something.
it was something. But anyways, that was super funny. Um, so yeah, the happy parts up until this point, honestly, have been for me uh, the feeling of helping others. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously,
and I
anytime
think
you
that
help.
goes back to being a peace officer. You're already drawn to the idea of trying to help people, and I
Yeah,
know I was, and I know this kind of scratches that itch a little bit.
yeah,
But
I
that's not
agree.
really. I mean, I don't want to scratch my back for it, pat myself on the back for what we're doing. We're trying to help each other, and then we're doing it on a format where maybe it could reach other people and help other people.
Yeah,
And it has,
absolutely.
because we've gotten positive feedback. We have gotten negative feedback too. Some people don't like some of the things that's been put out. and that's okay. I mean, we're not here to please everybody. We're not going to. But I think it's
That's okay.
important to note that when we tell our stories, and anybody that comes on and tells their stories, this is a place for people to say how they see it,
And
and
heal and heal.
and try to heal from it. Yes.
This is a platform that you may use to come on, share your story of being in a terrible situation, but how you got out of it as well. And what that does for someone, including me, when I shared my story, it helps give you closure.
Yeah.
You don't, and you don't have to
And
agree with,
it helps get it out of your head too, so you're not just sitting there dwelling on all the time. You
yeah,
could you could voice it out to somebody and see how kind of ridiculous it was to be so offended or so worried about these thoughts and stuff. And you get it out there, and it's like wasn't that bad. And then I get some feedback, some affirmation for the good stuff, and some affirmation for the bad stuff was bad, and all things. It just makes you feel better. Yes, it's therapeutic, man. I look
yeah,
forward to these conversations because of that. It
absolutely.
does help me too.
And I think it took us a minute to kind of like it would anybody to get
Yeah.
in the rhythm. I mean, figure out what's going on, what's the
And we
format,
probably
how's it going
still
to work,
are.
and all that kind of stuff. And we still are. We still are. I'm sure our microphones need to be changed. So anyone listening, we
We have
will
gotten that as
change
a
our
negative.
microphones. We're going to figure that out. We've been using these earbuds up until this point, but I think we can do better for you guys. So that's what we'll start to
This
do.
keeps going and we keep getting subscribers and this keeps going. It'll be worth it to buy better equipment to sound better and do that stuff too.
Oh, I'm doing it anyways. We are going
Well,
at
yeah,
least till
I
the,
think we're at the point now where it's been going.
yeah.
It's been spinning positive. We're not really slowing down for any reasons. We have no reason to. So maybe, yeah, let's invest and get some better equipment. I can start. I got a nicer computer that I could probably switch to and get a microphone with that.
We'll
Um,
figure it out. No
yeah.
worries. But I'm
But
excited that
topic wise, all we want is stories of resilience and healing.
yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm trying to heal, motherfucker. Let me heal.
And there's so many people going through stuff. Everyone has something going on in their world. Whether you're in jail, you're a police officer, you're a doctor, you're a priest, everybody's going through something, and we've been tricked that if we're going through something, it makes us weak. It actually doesn't. That's just life. You know what I mean? Facing what's going on, that's what makes you resilient. Taking the first step of this doesn't feel good when I do this. I think maybe I need to change something. Or, I don't feel good when I get angry. So I want to start kind of pulling back from that if I can, or all that kind of stuff.
You get
We're
to the
all,
point where the drinking is too much. I mean, that's where I
yeah,
was at. The drinking was
I,
too much. This is stupid. What am I doing? You had the same one. I'm not going to sit here and die from drinking. I survive after surviving being shot in the face.
yeah,
I love that. That's perfect. That's exactly what we're supposed to do. And it doesn't have to be that drastic, though. It can be something smaller. I'm ruining my life, my marriage, my friendships for these reasons. Let's pick it up. Let's change it. And
right.
we can
Or
all
I'd
do
like
better.
to do better. I'd like to do better.
Yeah.
I know a lot of men who want to be bigger, stronger men, what am I trying to say? They want to be able to step up and be a man in this world, but they're so scared to do it sometimes because they feel like they're going to be critiqued or something like that. When that's
Well,
kind of
and you will
scary.
be, but who cares? Don't, whatever other people's opinion of you shouldn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
As long as you know you're doing the right thing and keep trying to do the right thing, you can always correct some things. That's true. That's true too.
Yeah.
But who gives a fuck? Like if anybody
Exactly.
watches, if anybody's turning this off because they don't like the looks of our faces, they don't like our stories, they think we're full of crap, fine, turn it off. It won't bother us because this. I mean, even if nobody watches and it's just you and I talking and we record it for ourselves, it's still going to be beneficial for us, and that's all that I
Exactly.
care about.
Yeah.
And
It's helped
other people's
me.
opinion cannot affect you. So yeah, don't let it affect you when you're trying to get better. Face your fears. Talk to a buddy. Talk to a therapist if you need to. Talk to a family member. Find something to get moving. Clean one sock drawer. Move one rock. Play one hole of golf. Do 5 minutes of meditation. Let it turn into something more. Let it grow. Let it gain momentum. Let it help you.
Or just step out of your house. If you've been hiding in your house, just go outside for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You
Get
don't
some
have to
sun.
tell anybody. You don't have to do anything. Don't, you know what I mean? Like sometimes when you get started, you got to do it alone too, even when you've got people around you, because it's got to
Yeah,
be yours.
and I still
Yeah.
have days where I just want to. It happened. It happened to me just yesterday. Actually, I was gonna do something to go see some friends. I've been kind of burning the candle on both ends a little bit for my lifestyle, I guess. Right now, I've been moving around a lot more, doing a lot more stuff, physical and not physical, and playing golf and walking,
Yeah.
and I was like, you know what? I just need a day of like nothing for a
Yeah.
second, re-energize myself, and that's good too. And
Yeah.
do it however it works for you. Mine was
That's
just
part of being resilient is actually being able to
recognizing that you
evaluate.
need that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, you said
100%.
exactly what you were saying.
No, we're saying the same thing, and I'm just really excited for what's to come. Um, and at the end of the day, I have to say all glory to God because that's what saved me. Jesus saved me from falling in the darkness, like I've mentioned in my episode. Um, and he's the reason I believe that we've been able to do this. The fact that we ran into each other
Yeah.
going through something so similar after being so close and then separated for a while, going through the same sort of stuff, losing each other's fathers, and for me the drinking, and you were cutting back at the drinking when we ran into each other literally at my dad's funeral
Yeah.
reception, and it just kind of clicked. We were in the same place, and we were trying to make the best decisions to move ourselves forward compared to the easy ones
Yeah.
compared to like running from it, being like, okay, I'm taking account, I'm stepping up. This is something I need to do. And I think I secretly needed a paddling buddy, if you will. So I asked you, and you were receptive to it, to which I am eternally grateful. This has been
I was a
so,
little hesitant. I was a little apprehensive at first. I
yeah.
don't like
I
the
mean,
sound of my voice. I don't like seeing myself on the computer there. I don't like that people are able to watch it back and make fun of me or something, I guess. But I shouldn't care. Like I said, I should take my own advice and just do it, right? And I did. We got
we
there, and
basically,
here we are.
so we started nervous, and then we basically filleted ourselves open on the podcast and showed everybody our insides. And now I don't feel scared or weak about it. I'm like, that's freaking awesome that you're willing to just open yourself up, fillet yourself, and be like, this is what's going on here. If you can, this can help you in any way, grab it. You know what I mean? And just to be able to walk away from that and be like, you're welcome.
Well,
It's
I
just
don't think that
nuts.
you have to be like 100% like completely honest with every single thing you've ever done bad, like make a list and or whatever. But basically, I've had a shitty attitude about some things that I need to change, and I recognize that, and I'm trying. I know I got some family members that would probably speak up right now, very very loudly about it, but we're going to work it, and it's not all my fault. It's not all my doing. It's two-way street for everybody too. They got to play their parts as well.
Right.
But yeah, I'm proud of us. I'm proud of this. It makes me feel good. It feels like it's the right thing to do. I know it's the right thing to do because the heck, I feel like spiritually I get attacked a little bit more since we started doing this. So that's got to be a sign that we're doing something right because the devil ain't coming for you. You ain't doing something wrong. I mean, you're doing something. You know what? You're not doing something wrong in his eyes. However you want to word that. It's like
Right.
if the devil isn't coming for you, then
There's a problem.
he's not worried about you.
Yeah, you're
But if
not a
he's coming
threat.
at you, then you're poking at something he doesn't want you poking at.
Man, he is good too, because he'll hit you from multiple angles at the same time when he realizes one thing won't take you down. So,
Well, I mean, remember when God said that we're going to make man in our images, and He's talking about Himself as the Trinity, but that includes angels, that includes Satan and his demons. We're a creation
wow.
of all of their images. So our bad can be just as bad as Satan, and our good can be just as good as Jesus. We're never going to be just as good as Jesus. We're never perfect. We're always going to make mistakes, but we strive. And thankfully that He died on the cross for His goodness or His sins, and that's all we have to believe. And He forgives us, and we'll be good. But yeah, the devil knows what he's doing. He's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah,
He knows, he knows
use
exactly what makes you tick, and he knows how to get it.
and he knows the people to use that will hit you like in the soft spots that hurt. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So you kind of got to like when that happens, step away, take a breath, try not to take it personal, and just for me, when I've run into those situations,
You gotta
I
let
just
that
have to,
boiling water stop boiling so you can see a reflection, and then you can respond.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's interesting how it,
We
it's
hit on
it,
all these things that they're actually very true and just not easy to do all the time. But
no, no, but we just got to
keep
keep putting
trying.
one foot in front of the other. We're going to keep bringing on amazing guests that are going to share their stories. Uh,
I really want to get the
Brand,
other DFW guy on. I hope he gets approval to come on and talk about that mental
yeah,
health movement that they're doing there at down in Dallas at the
I
airport.
would absolutely love that, and I'm work.
He would be a really good guest to talk anyway. He's very personable and converses really well and
Yeah,
is a smart guy. He'll be a great guest whether he talks about this or not. But I'd like to get him on to talk about it. I want to hear more about how they got that going and why they got it going, their motivation. So I really hope they get that he comes on.
yeah, me too. I think that would be absolutely awesome because
And
what
man,
that
I'm excited because somebody watching right now is going to reach out to us and say, you know what, I want to be on. I
and
got a
not only
story.
that, I would love to get suggestions on like there are so many amazing characters out there. I mean, I'm literally talking to an anti-bullying clown, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
in a recent thing that's going to be
And he was
it's going to
with
be
Patch
coming out.
Adams. We don't want to give him too many spoilers.
Oh, yeah, he literally worked with Patch Ad, and like so, there's so many amazing people out there. That clown also goes into corporations and gives talks on resiliency, right? So if you've ever been to or heard of an individual who gives crazy talks, who's out of this world but super inspiring or
Yeah.
whatever it is, give us a heads up on Facebook. We are SHT creeksurvivors.com. They won't let me put the explanation point in there or the I for Shit Creek Survivors. So that's where you find us on Facebook. That's where we do all of our social media. Again, if you guys think I should be on something else, we do have Twitter, but we don't get a lot of kind of like views or I don't know much about Twitter. So Facebook has turned into my primary thing. If you think that it would be easier to go on to another social network or something like that that would work better for
Yeah.
you out there who's listening, please let us know.
If we can
Face
do it, we'll do it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then
Uh,
when it comes to the podcast, the shorts we have on YouTube. So I try to make a bunch of shorts out of each of the episodes that we have. That way they're easily digestible, and I'll put them on YouTube as well as Facebook. So you can watch those to kind of grab the topics or the highlights of the episode for that week if you didn't have a chance to listen to the whole thing. You can also email us at shitcreeksurvivors@gmail.com. You can also email my personal email at cgmckay, MCKAY, 22 at gmail.com. I'd love to get suggestions on who else we should have on that you think would be a great fit. And or if you think you've got a story that you're wanting to get off your chest and you want to share, this can be the place. We provide a safe podium for healing, to kind of get out in the open what's bothering you. We're not fixing anything, but we're openly discussing it and letting people know that they are not broken if they've been through something. They are not defined by the incident that's happened or the whatever it is. The only thing that they need to basically focus on is just not giving up.
yeah,
That's it. And that doesn't mean fixing it today. If you need to take a rest, take a rest. But being resilient is hanging in there, asking for help if you need help, taking one little step at a time, even if that means doing little things like step outside on your porch for a couple minutes in the morning. Don't tell anybody, just little bits. And keep coming back and listening to us, and we'll try to be as funny as we possibly can, as well as talk about the things that are important. Just a couple goofy guys. We try to do some fun
yeah.
stuff. So, to everyone out there, thank you so much for listening. We greatly appreciate it. I'm having deja vu right now. Like I remember this actually happening before. So this is nuts, and we're gonna keep going. Any last words, my good friend Dennis?
No, I think we're pretty good. Let's get those microphones before we start recording after the 4th of July, I guess.
I'm gonna be in St. Louis for the 4th.
Oh, you really?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's talk
We're gonna come
offline.
next week. Yeah, I'll talk to you
Play some
offline
golf or
about it.
something.
We'll
Play
cut
some
this
golf or
part out.
something.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Bye to everybody else. I'll see you.
Bye guys. We love you so much. Keep watching, keep listening, and we'll keep bringing you awesome stuff.
Keep loving.
Keep
Spread the
loving.
love. Keep spreading love, not hate. Spread love, not hate.